an introduction to REOSK, and in particular to the investment opportunity that's available to you. So getting here was not easy. Getting to where we're here today was definitely a climb. Those of you that know me for a while would know that I've been working on this project for the past 6 years. So it has been tough, but being here today, I'm absolutely thrilled, very, very excited, and I know we've got a product that will definitely make a mark in the marketplace. I'm actually going to try and stick to the agenda in place, which will take about an hour, because I'm sure that every single one of you is very, very busy. And so I'll just introduce to you the agenda that we have. Once I'll do the initial introduction, we're going to have Barbara from Object Synergy, who is an R&D specialist, introduce the technology, followed by Dirk Villen, who will be talking about the vision of REOSK. The objective, of course, of today's meeting is to invest in SIR. SIR is basically the holding company, just to give you a brief introduction, of two companies. We've got Icaron, which is the entity that has been planning the R&D, the research and development, for the past 2 financial years, and is about to get another tax incentive very shortly. And then we've got Leota trading as REOSK, which is actually the company which will go to market about that. I wanted to just explain to you a little bit about my background, for those of you that don't know it too well. I come from a background of 25 years experience in the real estate industry. When I first started, I was probably one of the few female salespeople, because in those days, although now it's very common to have ladies who are showing properties, back in those days it wasn't. And when I first started selling real estate, I was basically in an office with five other men, and was breastfeeding because I just had a little baby, had to just work on a part-time basis, and the odds were against me to succeed. You know, essentially, you know, I had the guys sitting there and going, yeah, let's see what you can do. There were a list of properties which were blacklisted, the dark ones, the overpriced ones, and I was able to, because I didn't have any obstacles in my way, I just went and I sold it, and very quickly I became a very, one of the top salespeople in the property. I'm not saying it to just tap myself on the shoulder, but the reason I'm saying it, I was a great salesperson, but I was horrendous with my paperwork. Absolutely, I used to have fights with the administration lady about agreements and how to fill them out and paperwork. I mean, that was the last thing I wanted to do. And the reason I'm saying this to you is because I know in saying it in my experiences, I know that it basically reflects the experiences of a lot of real estate agents. What they're really interested in doing is to go out there and sell, make the money, grow their rent roll, and the last thing they want to do is fiddle with paperwork and compliance and agreements and checklists and all of that. And about 10-15 years after I started in real estate, I decided to open up my own business, and that's Sydney International Realty. And my first client was basically a gentleman that bought a property, and he wanted me to list it. I had no idea about property management, and I had to learn it all from scratch. It was tough. So at that point, I realized, hey, if I'm a person in real estate that is struggling with this concept, surely there are other people out there, real estate agents, who may specialize in one area but don't really have the knowledge about another. And that's how REOSK basically started off. It started from necessity. It started basically because I needed to know, I needed to survive as a licensee, because it's very, very different as a licensee. When you work for somebody else who's got everything done for you. As a licensee, the responsibility is, the onus is on you. So just to cut a long story short, over the years, REOSK has evolved. It started as a small system, targeted at just startup agencies. Now it's evolved to mega proportions, where it's actually attracted the attention of the largest training organisation in New South Wales, and I believe nationally, whom I call the Australian College of Professionals. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of them. And they are so excited about REOSK, they're actually waiting for us to to come to them and say to them, here is a green light, start training with the system. What that means is I've got 2,500 people coming through their door yearly, and those people are going to be trained on REOSK. What it also means, that from an investment point of view, is that you know that at least, it's hard to estimate, but I would say at least 10% of those people will say, hey, where do we get the system? How do we use it? Why is this system unique? Why is REOSK so unique? Apart from the fact that it deals with compliance and it takes away that hassle for agents to have to worry that, am I using the right agreement with the right regulation? Or what happens if this legislation changes and I'm using the wrong forms? What we've also done, which we're very, very proud of, is we've designed a process which basically, and I'll just show it to you on a piece of paper, which basically breaks down looking after an office. It makes life very easy for an agent. What we've done, we've actually broken down the processes into what happens before, pre, what happens at the start of a process, which we call it start, what happens during, and what happens after. So to support this process, there are numerous checklists which an agent can then, whatever process it is, we take property management, and I know it doesn't mean very much to most of you, but in property management, we've got the landlord, we've got the tenant. With the landlord, what do you do before you get a listing? What do you do when you sign it up? And with the tenant, the same thing. And how do you manage it throughout? You've got disputes resolution, you've got repair and maintenance. There are millions of processes in place. What we've done is we've actually created the system online where, based on where the process is, you click, you go there, you have the checklist to follow through the templates. And what it does, it just simplifies the process for agents. It enhances efficiency, but most importantly, and I'll relate to this, it will ensure compliance. And why is compliance important? Compliance is important because there are many, many articles to basically support the fact that between 80 to 100% of agents are not compliant. And what actually happens that, often, these articles, you're more than welcome to have a look at it a little bit later on, but they all support the fact that now compliance officers, just like red traffic lights, they're on the increase. They'll just come to your office and say, show me what you've done. And actually this very experience happened to me. 2 months ago, we had a compliance officer just walking here, and I said, show us, they're doing a city compliance. And we had to show him all our documents, we had to, go through all the checklists. And thankfully, everything was fine with us because we're very compliant orientated. But his comments were to me, out of 1,000 agents out there, none of your colleagues were lucky. Now some of the breaches, just to show you, this is a booklet which basically shows you the amount of, the number of breaches and the dollar value attached to each one, which may not mean very much to you, but it's about $110 per penalty unit. Now whether you're being penalised $500 or you're being penalised $250,000 and in some cases prison, it hurts agents, and it's hard for them to keep up with all of this if they do not have a program like REOSK. And that's what we found. There is a problem, a huge problem in the marketplace, and REOSK is a solution. Beyond that, what we've decided to do is be an all-in-one solution. Not just to do with the base product which we're launching, but also to provide many different add-ons which will enhance the product, which will enhance from an investment point of view the potential for higher revenue. And because real estate really, it affects every single one of us. We all need a roof over our head. We're either renting, we're either buying or selling, we're investing, we're developing, and it's an ongoing thing. There's so many other industries which can plug in and have already approached us. Industries like conveyancing, and you've got accounting, bookkeeping, you've got auditors, you've got companies that basically offer additional services to agents. You've got valuations, mortgages. Everything basically can come under the one umbrella of a one-stop solution. What we're offering today is a very limited opportunity for the people in the room to basically come on board at a special price. When we say special price, a special share price of what we quoted is 20 cents per share, with a minimum entry of $10,000, which will buy you 50,000 shares. The reason I'm saying this is a very special price is once we actually go to market, once we generate some sales, and we're expecting, we've got a cash flow projection, we're expecting to generate in the first quarter approximately 40 sales, and annually we're expecting to generate approximately 300, which basically works out to be less than 1% of the agents, real estate agents in New South Wales. Obviously there'll be different states, we're going to go globally, there's going to be a lot more partnerships. You can see why investing in REOSK is a long-term thing. We would say to you, don't just come in, put your money in and try and get rid of the shares within a month or 2 or 3. Hang on to them, see what happens to these shares in 5 years from now. You'll be thanking me that you've invested.